they're now proposing tax breaks for people to stay in Wales. You know, Welsh people, Welsh speakers to stay in Wales, basically. And I was reading this, I was thinking, hang on a minute. The Labour Party is increasing taxes, changing things. We're having a mass exodus now of rich people out of this country, aren't we? But the Welsh government are giving people tax breaks to stay in Wales. Why is nobody giving the wealth creators, the people who add value, who employ people, why are they not giving them tax breaks to stay in England?
Because they're evil. Because they're seen as evil. They're the ones who won't pay their fair share of tax, therefore we need to punish them. Labour did this in the 70s, the big brain drain, all the money left and we were poor. The first thing I'd like to ask the Welsh Government is, don't you realise the reason why people are leaving is because you've made Wales a shithole and nobody wants to live here anymore now. Yeah. If you want to make people stay in Wales and live in Wales, change what you're doing, change your policies. Don't bribe people to stay here. Make it a better country to live in.
Yeah.
But they won't, so therefore they'll try to bribe them. Another conversation the Welsh need to have is about their language. I'm going to upset the Welsh now. No hate mail, please.
Do we have Welsh listeners?
I'm sure we do. But the Welsh language is a lovely language. It's ancient, stuff like that, but it's useless. So children in Wales spend far too much time learning a dead language called Welsh when they could be learning physics, chemistry and lots of other things. So we're already putting Welsh children at a handicap compared to other children across the UK by making them learn a dead language. And I'm sure it's a beautiful language. I'm sure they've got connections
it's
to it.
It's rather harsh language, actually. There's far too many consonants in it.
Right. But if they wanted to improve the country going forward, that was something. I remember speaking to a guy from the Faroe Islands once, which is owned by Denmark. And he explained this to me. Because he said, born on the Faroe Islands, he speaks whatever language is on Faroe.
Yeah.
It's next to Greenland, so they learn Greenland language. They're all owned by Denmark, so he speaks Danish. And then all schools in the secondary school teach German. He was fluent in the full, and now he's taught himself English. And he went, that's what sounds great, Nick, he said, but do you know how much education I missed learning languages? That I didn't do history, I didn't do physics, I didn't do this, really? I didn't do that. Yeah. So great, you can speak a lot of languages, but in the modern world where we're trying to upskill children, speaking a language from Greenland and speaking a language of the Faroe Islands, where they all speak English anyway, is same with Wales. For me, and it's not for me to tell them this, they need to have a conversation with themselves in Wales about, are we handicapping our children?
Yeah, they'll probably have that conversation in Welsh. Well, actually, I watched a programme about this once, or listened to a programme about this once, about the Welsh language. It was dying out. It was dying out in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
And they changed the legislation to bring it back. And they actually changed the legislation so that all legal documents had to be done in Welsh. So people had to learn Welsh, basically. So they actually dragged it back into being again. And now in North Wales, most people do speak Welsh, actually. Even though I know it's a dying language, lots of people, because whenever I go in a pub we've got a place in Wales. Yeah. Whenever I go in the pub there, they all start speaking Welsh.
Well, it's because they're talking about you.
Yeah, I kind of guess that. Yeah, they're all looking at me.
Here comes that rich English guy again, spitting his beer.
But I'll tell you something, it's interesting, that thing about trying to keep people in Wales. One thing they've done in Wales is they have increased the rates for second. Have you heard about this? They're doing it now. They're not just doing it now in Wales, they're now doing it in Cornwall as well.
Yeah.
All that's happened as a result of that is there are hundreds of houses for sale and nobody's buying them. So the people, because quite a few people had a second home in Wales that didn't cost them very much, because the Welsh didn't want to buy them years ago and still don't really want to buy them. So they bought a relatively cheap house and they would go there at the weekend, they would spend money in the local community, they'd go to the local pubs, as I do when I'm in Wales, go to the local restaurants, spend money, employ local builders when they were getting work done. Now, because of the rates, they can't afford to stay there, so they're selling up, basically. Yeah. And all these houses are coming on the market, and quite a few Welsh seaside towns have reported a drop in their earnings, their tourist earnings. Yeah, of course. So they're by adopting these policies, they're actually reducing the level of revenue, tourist revenue they're getting. It seems insanity, that, doesn't it?
It does. as Mallorca's just done the same thing. Mallorca
Yes.
has just reported half the restaurants are going bankrupt.
Really?
Right? Just had a summer of demonstrations. Tourists go home.
Yeah,
tourists,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
and you wonder why tourists didn't come.
Yeah.
In Wales, all those properties may be empty at the moment, but over time, those owners will keep lowering the prices to sell them.
Yes.
And it'll get to a stage where maybe local people can afford to buy them then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the housing problem a bit solved there, but it's not good for the economy. If you
Yes.
base your economy around tourism,
Yeah.
then that's not clever.
Yeah.
But Welsh Labour haven't got a clue. Welsh Labour are killing Wales.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it generates.
Well, that
no
guy,
income.
what was he called? The Welsh Premier. He was an awful man. He's just recently retired.
The white guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was a crazy black guy.
Yeah, he
who
lasted
took over.
2 months or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a DII.
He was strange.
Yeah.
He was weird.
Yeah, he got a tick in the box. He got it because he was black.
Yeah. He was the kind of kid you'd beat up at school. Do you remember those
I
times?
never beat any kid. I used to stop kids being beat up in school.
I think you might have been the one who was beaten up at school.
I may have been,
I
yeah.
can imagine. You know, the ones that like slightly strange ones who kind of talk a bit too fast, and you know, in the chess club. I was in the chess club actually, thinking about it. Yeah, and
Chess? We can't afford chess.
and
My
yeah,
school.
well, you're like Angela Rayner, working
Ah.
class. You didn't, you didn't have chess, did you?
I stood outside that room waiting for someone to buy me a dress.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of these kids that we used to beat up at school who are now in senior positions of power, aren't they?
I don't know about. I get the point you're making, but I don't know about. But I get your point that some
I
of
didn't
the,
used to beat people up at school.
some of the weird ones, yes. And
Yeah.
why have they moved on so quickly? It's because they realise DAI works for them.
Yes.
So they jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Same with the First Minister in Wales before he got kicked out.
Yeah.
Useless Hums or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
The black guy in Wales were talking about Rishi Sunak.
Yeah.
All these people got the jobs because
Yeah.
of their colour.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting point, isn't it? Those kind of outsiders, those loners at school who nobody really talked to. People like the guy who ended up as the First Minister of Wales, he normally would just be sitting on a bus on his own, wouldn't he? In a kind of brown overcoat, going somewhere, you know, and he'd have a job maybe at B&Q,
Yeah.
and nobody really would talk to him. But they've actually somehow managed to leapfrog that and become the people who are running our countries.
Because he's black. So all the people around him are going, well, it'd be great for Wales if we had a black politician, becomes
Yeah,
a black politician.
yeah.
We need to recruit him to maybe take over one day. And then, you know, there's a vacancy. Oh, we've got a black leader in our country. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Until he gets tested. And when he got tested, he fell apart.
Yeah.
Same with useless Hamza.
Hamza useless. Yeah.
When he got tested,
Yeah.
fell apart. Rishi Sunak got tested.
I thought,
fell apart.
I think Rishi Sunak was relatively bright and personable though. Yusuf wasn't. Hamza Yusuf wasn't personable.
Different degrees of how crap they are,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Rishi Sunak got the job because he was brown.
I think he's quite bright.
He's very bright.
Yeah,
He's very
yeah.
bright. Just because you get it because you're coloured, don't mean you're stupid.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean David Lammy. I think maybe a DEI appointment because he's just so stupid. I can't see how the hell he got there otherwise. Basically.
Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.